Hi everyone. I decided to do another vlog. I really liked doing the last one. I actually went back and listened to myself, which was kind of strange at first. And then the more I listened to it, the more I was like, wow, I'm actually able to talk about this and um, be really strong about it, not like choking over my words or anything like I thought I might be. I have lots of visitors today. Here's Kupo on my lap again, and that's my cat Winry behind me. That's both of the pets that I have in this house. So you're seeing both of them. You can just kind of see her face over here and her little tail back there, and then Kupo's little head right here. I'm the only one home today, so they're just attached to me. So here they are. Winry will probably get up and down and stuff like that, and Kupo will probably get up and down and bark, and it'll be fun. And now Winry's in the bookshelf. Um, anyway, I really liked that experience of making a vlog, and I asked on Facebook if I should make more of them. And my friend Jess actually said that I should because, these things that I make, whether it's a written blog or an audio slash video vlog, it's for other people who are listening it to grow, as she said, but it's mostly for me too, because this is how I'm dealing with a lot of my issues. So I decided to take her advice, because she always gives great advice, and make another vlog today. Since I'm still off of work, I work school hours only, so obviously kids aren't in school right now until after the new year, so I'll be back to work in a few days. But right now I'm just trying to fill my time and stay busy and stuff like that. So here we are. I don't really have an agenda for this vlog. Winry is now playing with my sweatshirt. Winry, don't do that. It's a brand new sweatshirt. So I'm kind of just gonna talk about whatever comes to mind. Now, the more I start doing these, I might actually have an agenda of things I want to talk about. But for right now, it's easier to just kind of talk. So I'm sorry if I'm rambly or don't make a lot of sense or have gaps and stuff like that. I don't really intend to. Also, I'm going to try to move around my house, so you're not always looking at me in the same place. Today, I am back by the very front of my apartment where the windows are. Also, the bookshelf, obviously, is right here. You can see a bunch of manga up there. And I'm also in front of my favorite poster of all. That's the guys from Achievement Hunter. You can't see all of them, but the guy dead center is my favorite. That's Michael. He's like doing something sexually inappropriate to Ray there, it looks like. And then you can see Gavin in purple, and the face all the way in the back is Jeff. He's like the head of Achievement Hunter. Jack and Ryan are also in it, but you can't really see them from this angle. But I love this poster because I love it for a lot of reasons, actually. I'm going to start with superficial reasons. And yes, this has to do with my life. Trust me. Just bear with me. I love the poster because it expresses something that's so prevalent in their videos, particularly in their podcasts. They do video podcasts, which I love to watch. I've been watching old ones all this past week when I haven't had much else to do. And they talk freely about sexuality, which is something that I do a lot. I did it a lot in college, and it used to be part of things I would write, either poetry or creative nonfiction, which are the two genres that I write. Actually, they're the only genres I write now. I don't do fiction. I'm not into that, so poetry or creative nonfiction is what I do. And I'd have to do readings in college because I was an English major. I think I did 4 readings the entire time I was in college. That sounds about right. And almost everything I would read would have some kind of controversy to it. And not because I want to create controversy, but because that's what I do. I'm very honest. I'm very raw. And I got a reputation for that when I was in college. And it was kind of nice to be, like, known. Like, people recognized me, and that was kind of cool. I sort of miss it, to be honest. Maybe I'll go back to doing it one day. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. And people will come up to me after I was done with these readings, and they'd be like, I was like embarrassed for you. I don't know how you can say all of that stuff with a straight face and not be like laughing and giggling and stuff. And I'm just like, honestly, it's a life experience. It's how I feel. It's the way I think about things. And they're very much like that too. They're just very honest. They will talk about anything that's human nature. And I love that about them. And most of them are men. There are a few women in Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth, like Barbara, I like a lot. Lindsay, I love. Griffin used to be on there, Jeff's wife. Lindsay is Michael's fiance. Um, but they're not on nearly as much on the podcast. So it's mostly 4 or 5 men. And when they're talking about sexuality, I'm pretty sure all of them are completely heterosexual, but I could be mistaken about that. I really don't know. I guess they're not completely because of the way they talk. I would say there's kind of some other leanings there. I don't know for sure how they identify themselves, put it that way. But in terms of like them talking about each other's sexuality and how they play into it with each other, they're very open about it, and they don't let anything like, I don't know how to put it. They're just very open, and no matter whether they're talking about something that identifies them heterosexually or homosexually, they talk about it freely and openly, and I love the way that they do that because they're just so honest about human sexuality, and they don't even do it like knowingly. They're just like talking. And I think that's amazing, and I think this poster does it well because they're in a provocative pose and everything, and they're all men, and I think a lot of people would see this and go, what is going on there, and would probably be pretty uncomfortable about it. I love that poster. On the other hand, I have one of 2 women kissing in my bedroom. It's a Victoria Francis print, and I don't think I've ever had someone see that and go, why do you have that? Or that's strange. So I think men talking freely about sexuality, especially when, there are these gamer guys, it's kind of profound. You don't see a lot of it, and I think it's good that they are so open. The other thing about Achievement Hunter is that I watch a lot of their videos. I watch Rooster Teeth shorts, I watch animated adventures. Anything they do, pretty much, I'll watch it, unless it's about a game I'm not particularly interested in. Then I probably won't. They've been the source of my sanity a lot of the time. Them and Let's Players. There are a lot of Let's Players on YouTube that I watch a lot. Josh Jepson, Nintendo Capri Sun, Luca Jin, Chugga Conroy. That's Emil. I love Emil. They kind of keep me sane because they have a lot of the same interests that I do, and they all talk about just life in general, and they're very open. So listening to other people who, have these very real personalities who don't, I guess, who are just so similar to the way I think and have common interests, and just to see that is really comforting. So they're the source of a lot of my sanity, particularly Achievement Hunter. I watch a ton of their stuff. I'm actually wearing one of their hoodies right now. It's Ruby. That's the anime that they're putting out right now. A lot of them do voices for the show, and Monty Ohm, who works for Rooster Teeth, is pretty much the mastermind behind it, and I think it's great. The first season is done and everything. If you like anime, go watch it. It's on their YouTube page, on Rooster Teeth's YouTube page, and it's also on roosterteeth.com, so check it out if you're interested in that. And one of the other things I've been getting back into lately is doing yoga. I just did some this morning. I was doing it a lot when I first started on my new diet. It's not really a diet, it's just the way I eat now. But it's hard to find another word for it, I guess. And I was doing it mostly kind of as a way to be active because I wanted to find something that I like doing that gets me active. Like, I'm not the kind of person who can, no matter what I do, I can't enjoy walking on a treadmill. I actually played video games for walking on a treadmill, and I still got bored. It's just not something I enjoy. I can't force it. I don't like it. So I've been trying to find stuff to keep me active that I enjoy, and yoga is one of those things. It's very relaxing. And I had stopped doing it for a while, and I really don't know why. And I just started doing it again this morning, and I did it for like a half an hour, I think, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that. And I was actually listening to a Rooster Teeth podcast while I was doing it. And part of yoga is the breathing in it, and I liked that. I liked just kind of the saturation of self that's involved in it. But then I've been finding it a little hard to be alone with myself lately, and that's something I struggle with a lot. The dog is probably going to start barking soon because the cat's playing with her toy, and he likes to bother her. So if he starts barking, I apologize. Like I said, being alone with myself has been a little hard lately. I have a lot of things on my mind, a lot of things I want to try to accomplish in the next year or so. You know, Kellen and I really do still want to get our own house. It's getting tougher to live here with neighbors who are constantly bothering us. It kind of feels like living in a college dorm all over again. We'd like another dog, and we can't have another one here. We kind of want to be out of the city too. So there's that. We really need a new car. There's the adoption matter too, which I'm going to talk about later because Kellen and I have discussed it again since the last vlog that I made a few days ago. But as I was saying with yoga about being alone with myself, when I am alone with myself lately, my brain goes into overdrive. I think too much, and I'm having trouble relaxing from it. So I thought yoga would actually be a good way to get my mind off of that kind of stuff that I can't really do much about right now. There goes the dog. That's going to be a part, I think, of every vlog is the dog barking because that's what Kupo does. Anyway, I'll try to talk over him. I thought that it would be relaxing, but when I first started doing it, I was like, I'm still thinking about all these things while I'm trying to do this and trying to relax. So I decided to put on a podcast, and I'm like laying on the floor doing some of the poses and stuff like that, and I can feel like my shoulders vibrating because I'm laughing and everything at the podcast, and it was actually really nice because I was keeping my body and my mind into something else. So as weird as it is, and people who are really into yoga and stuff like that are probably like, dude, you're doing it wrong. But for me, it works. So I actually really enjoyed it. The mixture of comedy and, you know, having my body kind of resting really did wonders today. So I was happy about that. And again, I have to give credit to Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth because they are the source of my entertainment, my sanity. They actually inspire me a lot too. So, you know, they're a little bit of everything. The adoption thing, Kellen and I talked about it again. And it's a little bit of a sore point, and I think it's because in trying to have a baby, especially when you've been doing it as long as we have, the actual making of the baby part gets to be a little more like work and a little less like, well, like it would normally be between, you know, two people who love each other. And I think that's one thing that gets overshadowed a lot when it comes to trying to conceive, especially if you've been at it for a really long time. You know, there's points where you're like scheduling days where you have to have sex and stuff like that, and it's not even so much that it takes the romance out of it, because I'm not one of those kind of people who's like, oh, it's so, you know, romantic and everything. I'm more of this is a human act and let's have fun kind of thing, kind of person. As weird as that is to hear, I guess. Or maybe not weird. If you know me well enough, you know what I'm like. You know that I have some pretty strange viewpoints when it comes to that. But it's more like, it feels like a job. It feels like something you have to do. And when it's something like you're forcing yourself to do, it gets to be a pain in the butt. And I don't know if Kellen sees it that way, but I do sometimes. And then, I don't know, it kind of clouds my judgment. And for him, Kellen is one track minded, and I don't say that to be mean. It's just if he's thinking about playing a video game, he's not going to be thinking about what I look like at that point in time, or looking at me and going, "Ooh, she looks nice today," even if I've done something in particular to look nice or whatever to try to get him interested. Um, he just doesn't think that way, and that's hard for me sometimes, and it makes things even more difficult for us. So when we talk about adoption, I guess between the two of us, it feels like it's like, oh, are we giving up now? Like, are we finally at the point where we're just sick and tired of this? We know we're not. We know right now we're struggling, and it happens. We have periods of that, like, a couple months at a time, here and there. It happens. We get over it. We move on. It's all good. The dog really needs to make up his mind whether he wants to sit up here or go bother the cat, but, that's what Kupo does. Right, Koopsie? So when we talked about it, it was again, are we going to stick to when we've been married for 3 years? Are we going to start looking into adoption? And we pretty much decided yes, that we still want to do that. How far we're going to go into it right now is still kind of up for debates. I don't know if I'm just going to make a phone call or send an email and get some more information, or if I'm actually going to go to an agency and talk with them, if I'm going to get information about infant adoption and like foster to adopt kind of things. I don't know yet. We still have time. The other thing is, I'm not going to, the cat just hit me with her tail. And she did it again. I'm not going to go after it, and it's not going to be like, oh, it's March 26, 2014. We've been married for 3 years now. Let's go do this today. No. The other thing is, 3 months after our wedding anniversary will be my birthday, and I will be 25. So 25 is a difficult age for me to turn. Not because of being 25. It's like, oh, I'm a quarter of a century old or any of that kind of shit. I don't really give a fuck about that. It's more because I know I've talked about this in the blog before, is that when I first started having my fertility issues and stuff like that, back when I was in high school, actually I was even younger than that, but they didn't really do anything about it until I was in high school. They said, fertility decreases over time, and with somebody, who has the kind of issues that you have, it's going to decrease even more quickly. So you want to try to have your first pregnancy before you're 25. Now, I've already had 2 pregnancies. They were both failed, obviously. But they mean a successful pregnancy, one that results in a live birth. That's obviously not going to happen by the time I'm 25, because I will be 25 in 6 months, and I'm not pregnant right now. So you do the math. So it's kind of tough for me, because now I'm going, okay, now I'm past that limit. I'm not limiting myself to that. I'm not saying, okay, I'm 25, I need to stop now, because, hey, what do they don't know for sure that things are going to get harder for me after 25. They're just saying it will be easier if you are in your early 20s when this happens. Obviously, I'm already in my mid-20s, technically speaking, but, they're like, 25 is a good, like, deadline to have. Don't call it a deadline, though. So I guess waiting until I'm 25 to really open the adoption debate it's kind of stupid in one light, because I know it's going to trick my brain into thinking, like, you're following what they said about you turning 25 and maybe not being able to have kids after that. But then again, it's also like, all right, I know that I have this possible limitation, so I might as well address it instead of just letting it linger in my brain and make things harder for me. So I think I'm going to struggle with it a little bit, but I think ultimately it's going to be the right decision, and it's going to be a good thing. So that's where we're at on it. Probably we'll start talking about getting more information on adoption, whatever that more information may be, roughly in June or July of 2014. So that's kind of the plan right now. Nothing more than that other than a little bit of a time frame. So as I learn more and decide more and talk more about it, I will update on the vlog about it. I might still do blogs occasionally too, but I am finding that this is better for me to just talk rather than to type. Partly because I can't edit myself. I guess I could take things out of this or re-record or whatever, but I'm probably not going to do that. Whereas when I'm typing a blog, if I like put something in there and I'm like, oh, do I really want people to know that? I can just delete it. And I've done that before. Whereas this, I'm like, okay, I've said it. It's in there. It's done. It's over, man. So this is actually really good. But I think that's about all I want to talk about this time. I'm already over 20 minutes. So, again, yeah, if you like video game related content, anime and stuff like that, definitely check out Rooster Teeth. And Achievement Hunter, roosterteeth.com, achievementhunter.com. They're basically the same group of people. Rooster Teeth is more of where Red vs. Blue comes from, if you're familiar with that, and then Achievement Hunter is more of like the actual like video game content. Yeah, you'll figure it out if you're interested. I don't know where I'm going to be at the next time I do a vlog. Maybe I'll do it in front of the My Little Pony poster that Kellen has, or one of the Zelda ones, or I'll put a podcast on in the background and make you guys watch them. Or I could show you something weird that Achievement Hunter or Rooster Teeth has done. I don't know. I'll think about it. Hopefully it'll be something cool. I hope to do these a little more regularly. And also post them to YouTube as well. So keep looking out for them. Leave me comments if you can, or questions. Anything is good. I like having feedback. I like knowing that people are listening, and maybe that I'm helping people too. So yeah, don't hesitate to comment, to ask questions, anything like that. I'm always glad to hear from people who are listening. All right. I think that's about all for today. I'm going to go entertain the dog and the cat now since they've been entertaining me. See you guys later.